What's going on, people? Mike C-Town here with a movie review video, which is something I don't do very often. But yeah, I want to give you guys my thoughts on the latest Jordan Peele film, Nope. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about Dossier. Dossier is a perfume company that specializes in reproducing classic, high-end luxury scents at a fraction of the price. But just because they're cutting the price does not mean that they're cutting the quality. Everyone knows that when you buy these big-name designer items, more times than not, you're paying that large price tag due to the brand name, not the product. This is something that you don't have to worry about with Dossier, as their perfumes start at $29, whereas designer scents start at somewhere closer to $50. The cool thing is they also have a risk-free system that allows you to try out the scents before you commit to them. They offer a 30-day return policy in which you can return any opened bottle of perfume within that window and receive a full refund. Another cool thing that they offer is the catch payment method, which allows you to earn store credit with your purchases. Select catch at the last step of the checkout and you'll earn a $10 sign-on bonus, and you'll get a 10% store credit on every order. Outside of the price, one thing that really attracted me to this company is the fact that all of their fragrances are ethically sourced with vegan and eco-friendly ingredients, and they're all 100% non-toxic and cruelty-free, which means no innocent animals has their eyes burned out or their skin scorched during the production of these fragrances, which is something that your favorite perfume company cannot say. But a few of my current favorite scents are Musky Oak Moss, which is a nice blend of bergamot, rose, and oak moss with a subtle musk undertone, and the Ambery Lavender, which is a nice blend of lavender, bergamot, cedarwood, and more, and it's really, really nice. And it doesn't smell like a gross chemical fragrance, so you're not walking around smelling like you sell cars or insurance policies for a living. So yeah, be sure to check out the website, linked in the description section down there. You can also get a 20% discount off your first order, but there's also a code that gives you another 10% off of your orders. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal, and you can also get free shipping if you buy 3 or more fragrances, so jump on it. Now let's get into the video. Nope is Jordan Peele's third film after Get Out and Us. After those movies, he was propelled to the top of a lot of people's list of the best horror filmmakers. He's not quite there yet for me, but that's another video. At any rate, I do think that he is amazing, and I was really excited for this film because Jordan Peele's take on UFO encounters, I'm all about it. Now, before I get too deep into this, I did a video with the Frames Per Second crew on the Frames Per Second YouTube channel, so go check that out. And if you're wondering, well, if I did a video there, why am I doing one here? Well, because that was a group conversation, I didn't feel like I could get too deep into my thoughts of the concepts, so yeah, here we go. Oh, and one more thing, this video will contain many spoilers, and also, what you're going to be seeing and hearing in this video are all my ideas of what I think the concepts of the movie are. Obviously, I don't know Jordan Peele personally, so I can't state anything for a fact. That said, those of you who want to argue in the comments, you don't know him either, so you're not privy to any of the facts concerning the concepts of this film. So, we're all just having fun with the discussion around what it all means, so let's do just that and only that. Have fun with this. Starting out, did I like the movie? The answer is yes. I definitely liked the movie. I feel like it was beautifully filmed and beautifully written. I think there were multiple times in the movie where the shots were just breathtakingly gorgeous. I thought the team up of Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer was stellar. They played off each other really well, mainly because they were so different. You know, Daniel Kaluuya is so reserved and tight-lipped, while Keke was really loud and boisterous. And I love how many times during the film that Jordan Peele just gave Kaluuya room to breathe, you know, not saying anything, just kind of speaking through his eyes, which he's so fucking good at. And, you know, I like Keke Palmer. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm some huge fan of hers, but I think her performance here was fantastic. I believed every single word that came out of her mouth and every emotion that she tried to convey. Steven Yeun was great as Jupe. I loved Michael Wincott as Antlers, And yeah, I'm not familiar with Brandon Perea, but I thought he was great as Angel. I especially love the random band shirts that he had, like Earth and Jesus Lizard. Now, do I totally understand why some folks didn't like it? Absolutely. I feel like if you just looked at this as a movie about people trying to get a picture of an alien, then you'll think that absolutely nothing happened, it's boring, and it's terrible. And I think in a lot of ways, that's because Jordan Peele sacrificed narrative for message more in this movie than he has in his other films, meaning he wasn't super concerned with a straightforward story or a story that made complete sense from A to B than he was with masking what he wanted to get across within the story. Now, as for people who were confused by the film, I get it on one hand. On the other hand, I don't really get it. I feel like Peele let you know what this movie was going to be about at the very beginning. When you're watching a film like this where you know there's going to be a message behind the movie, it's important to pay attention to all of the little details as much as possible. And he starts the film off with the Bible quote from Nahum 3:6, which says, "I will pelt you with filth, I will treat you with contempt and make you a spectacle." There you go. That's really it. I feel like the entire movie is all about spectacle and the price of fame. But I think spectacle is the main word of this film, so you're gonna hear that word a lot in this video. But it's all about people viewing things as spectacles. And in this film, I think we're talking about spectacles as something that we're viewing with no real care or need for understanding of it. Just something that we can look at and or exploit for monetary gain or fame, which I'll get more into in a bit. Now, why do I think the idea of spectacle is a good theme for a film in 2022? Well, I think a lot of what happens today is based on spectacle. From kids doing stupid shit for clout, down to us obsessively watching videos of mass shootings and police killings. You know, everything these days seems to be treated as a spectacle, no matter how good or traumatic it is. Now let's analyze what spectacle is in this film. You know, what in the movie is treated like a spectacle? The most obvious, of course, is the creature. You know, people aren't trying to understand it or analyze it. They just want to put it on display as a way of exploiting it. The fact that the creature doesn't hurt you unless you look at it kind of pushes that idea home for me. Also, the creature only devours organic material. So people, animals, anything that's not organic, it spits out. The way I look at that is these systems of spectacle devour anything that's living that pays attention to it. The creature represents the price of fame that's tied to these spectacles. It eats up anything with the heart while spitting out things that are just material. Coins, keys to houses. I like that it focused on those two things because they're things that we would consider to be of value. You know, things that we can potentially get from taking advantage of or exploiting these spectacles. You can also look at what the system of spectacle leaves behind is always inorganic. You have pictures for the gram, you have videos for YouTube or TikTok or something. Then look at the way the other animals are treated in this film. You know, let's start with Gordy. Gordy was absolutely treated as a spectacle, just like most animals are when they're in film. They put them on display, they stared at him, they laughed at him, etc. until he bugged out. You could also say the horses were treated as a spectacle to a degree. Maybe not by the Haywards, but by everyone else. I do think that the Haywards respected those animals because in some way, they were trying to understand them, especially OJ, which is why we see him for a moment trying to actually understand the creature as well later on in the film. He's the only one that understands how the creature is territorial. But if we look at how the movie people at the beginning were treating the horse or how Jupe is treating the horses, they were just commodities, right? Now let's talk about the price of fame, as I feel that's another big concept for the film. I feel like damn near everyone in the film was trying to benefit off of doing dangerous shit. Emerald and OJ risked their lives for a shot of the monster. Jupe is a bit deeper as he's desensitized himself to the trauma that he went through as a kid, having to see Gordy kill his co-stars. Also, he can make money by charging people to see memorabilia from the set, you know? He's also risking his life and the lives of others. Also, he can again make money and sort of show the control he has over the creature, which we'll get to in a bit as well. You also have the TMZ guy. he risks his life for a chance to get the one good shot. Same for Antlers. But Antlers died to get the best shot of this creature, even though he said we don't deserve it. I'm not quite clear on what that means, so if you are, drop a comment. You can also say the film is specifically about exploitation, but I kind of feel like you're being a bit redundant because spectacle and exploitation kind of go hand in hand here. So I'm not going to dive into that, except in respect to the animals. All of the animals are being exploited here, but I do like that that came with the price. So OJ says that the UFO is actually an animal and that every animal has rules about how they operate. I'd like to think he learns this because of how intently he pays attention to the horses on his farm. But we can also say that if you remove the exploitation that the humans were inflicting on the animals, then you really don't have any issue here, right? If no one was exploiting Gordy, then no one would have ended up dead, right? If no one was exploiting the horses and the creature, none of them would have ended up dead or devoured or whatever. In that respect, it goes into people not having respect for animals and thinking that they can control them, which is a common issue with humans. Jupe has been feeding the creature every week so he can turn around and try to exploit the creature and turn it into a spectacle and make money, which goes into the Gordy thing. Those things are very much tied. Some of us who are old enough remember the story that clearly inspired the Gordy thing. Y'all go look up Travis the chimp. I'll give you a really quick summary, but he was a monkey that this crazy ass lady named Sandra Harold thought that she could domesticate. She had him in the house, sleeping in her bed, all types of fucking weirdo shit, right? Then one day Travis bugged out and attacked her friend, Charla Nash. Travis ate her face, tore her hands off. He fucked her up real good. Charla basically had no face after the attack. And after turning down tons of requests for people to take pictures of her and interview her and exploit her, she ended up going on the Oprah show. And yeah, Oprah was the first person to publicly show Charla's face. OJ and Emerald mentioned getting on Oprah a lot in this movie. So get this, Charla even appeared on the show with a veil similar to how the woman in Nope did, right? But the stories fit together, right? Sandra thought she could have control over Travis because she had built up some type of rapport with him. Jupe thought he could have control over the creature because he had built up some type of rapport with him. And both of them ended up in some way paying the consequences. It's here that I'll present another theory. I've seen a theory that the movie is also about how the film industry treats and exploits its workers, using them to get the perfect shots, not giving them credit where they deserve it. Not sure I fully stand behind this theory, but it does make sense and it does fit into the theme. I also had this theory that the idea of the creature could be referencing racism, and that racism is something that people think if you never talk about it and just ignore it, it doesn't exist. And the movie could be outlining how dangerous it is to get proof of racism existing just to prove it to other people. But I'm not 100% on board with that theory either. I think it's a super duper Reed Richards style reach, but I'm just mentioning it anyway. Now, one thing I'm a bit fuzzy on is the relationship of the creature to the other animals. Like, I do think the creature's presence affects the animals, but I'm not sure why and to what depth. Like, the horses know there's something up, and I think that's why they take off running in the film. And I also think the presence of the creature is at least partly why Gordy flips out. Like, during Gordy's bug out, it implies it's because the balloons are popping, but later on, you also hear those same balloon popping sounds coming from the creature. So if anyone has a theory about that that makes sense, drop it in the comment section. But now let's talk about the creature itself. First off, I liked how they had it disrupting electronics. That's something that's pretty common among alien encounter stories. So that was a good touch. Some folks didn't like the way the alien looked. I'm really into UFOs, so I thought it was fascinating enough when it was just a flying saucer. But once they discover that it's not actually a ship carrying aliens, it's actually an alien itself, I thought that was really cool. Even once it changed shape, and like Nay said in the FPS video, turned into some curtains. I thought it was interesting if you consider how some animals in the wild do this, right? Some animals change shape out of fear or to protect themselves. Snakes do this. Frogs, octopus, they do things like this, right? Some birds, like peacocks, who puff their feathers up as a way of scaring off predators, right? They also do it to attract mates. And I look at what the creature's doing here as something very similar. You know, it's trying to create a spectacle and get Emerald to look at it, you know, marvel in how beautiful it is, because I did find something very beautiful and majestic about the way it looked once it transformed. Also, if we want to go off the theory about the movie being about the film industry, we can also say it represents the movie stars in their full glory on something like a red carpet, right? We marvel at how beautiful and fabulous these people look in these outfits, but still, we're not necessarily caring about them. Again, not quite sure if I'm on board with this theory, and even if I was, I'm not sure how much I care about how much rich celebrities don't feel appreciated. Now let's talk about the shoe. What was the meaning of the shoe standing up during the Gordy attack? So in the live, I said that it went back to the bad miracle thing that OJ said in the film. You know, a bad miracle in that the shoe landing like this is like a 1 in a million chance, right? A miracle. But it's a bad miracle because it only happened because of the brutal attack of Gordy on set. I originally thought it also fell into that miracle bucket due to it saving Jupe's life, because he was staring at it instead of staring at Gordy while Gordy was attacking people, and that's why Gordy didn't kill him. But I only saw the movie once, and I could be misremembering because folks said that he was looking at Gordy while Gordy was attacking, but he was just looking at him through the tablecloth, and that's what saved his life. But I'm iffy on that. I think I'm gonna stick with my theory there. Lastly, let's talk about the mission they do at the end. This seems to be a big point of contention for a lot of people, as it does seem like a really stupid mission. You know, they risked their life all to get a picture of the creature. This is one of those moments that really only makes sense if you look at it in terms of the message. And the message goes all the way back to the beginning of the movie, where Emerald's talking about the first motion picture being the black man on the horse, and how no one knows about this because he was basically erased from the overall story, which a lot of black people were back then. My thought is that Emerald and OJ don't want this to happen again, so they're determined to be the first to get a picture of this creature, and this time they'll not only be properly compensated for it, but that erasure of black people from these stories will not happen to them. I mean, it's an idea that OJ was willing to die for, and I do think he died for it. I think that shot of him at the end was a figment of her imagination. I think this for a number of reasons, but his lack of any sort of emotion or anything while sitting on that horse all awkwardly, and the fact that the sign right above his head said "Out Yonder," which for my non-Southern folks means really far away. But I think this moment was really significant due to the story we heard earlier of the horse named Jean Jacket that Emerald was supposed to get to train, but she didn't. And OJ names this creature Jean Jacket, and Emerald ends up being the one that breaks it. And OJ dying for this also ties into the bad miracle thing. You know, Emerald will surely make a lot of money and notoriety off this, but her brother is gone. Bad miracle. And the last thing I want to say is I saw a lot of folks complaining about how this movie is too abstract and it doesn't make sense, and that bugs me for a number of reasons, but the main one being that why is Jordan Peele not allowed to be abstract with his filmmaking? Like, we tolerate it and love it from Lynch, from Von Trier, from Cronenberg, right? I just wish that black folks were allowed the same level playing field to be weird that white folks are, right? And for that reason, I love Jordan Peele, and I will always appreciate what he does. But yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, let's discuss this. Make sure you drop your comments and your theories down there in the comment section. Also, let me know which one of my theories are a bit bullshit. But yeah, as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out.